Good day, IOA. This is Ellen Miller, and welcome to our latest edition of Good Day IOA. Today, I'm joined by the co-chairs of our brand new September Symposium, Heidi Stensby and Beena Patel. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So this is a brand new format for us at IOA. We've never done a fall or spring symposium. We're calling it the September Symposium, given the fact that we have members all over the globe. And so the symposium this year focuses on DEIB and trauma. And Beena, tell us a little bit about why we chose those topics.
Yeah, thank you, Ellen. Over the past year, probably more so than that, we've seen an increase in work-related issues with trauma and mental health, as well as diversity, equity, and inclusion. With all of that overlapping, we figured in the ombuds world, which we are the front line, we are facing a lot of or experiencing a lot of these things, these types of issues coming in with our visitors. So this was a great time to reach into that and find out how we can best help one another and share best practices and learn from each other. And this is what the symposium is all about.
Terrific. And Heidi, we often get this question, and it certainly showed up on the member survey recently, but we spent a lot of time talking about DEIB at IOA. And tell us why DEIB issues are important for ombuds.
Certainly. First of all, hello, Ellen and Beena. Really good to be with you and great to be with all of our IOA colleagues across the globe. So why is diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging important to the IOA or to us personally? I've been a part of the DEIB committee that was formed by the IOA 3 years ago in 2020. And I felt like before that, threads of diversity, equity, and inclusion were really important to my work. I knew that my own experience informed the way that I respond, but that other people's experiences inform the way that they respond and interact to any situation. And through my work on the DEIB committee, I have really come to believe that it is central to the work that we do. And so I know there are a lot of organizations and even cultural areas where people say, you know what, leave DEIB stuff to the experts. We're just going to do our thing. I actually don't know how we can function without weaving them together, because the overlay is so critical to recognize what makes each of us function, how we practice our beliefs. And so I'm so thrilled that this has become such a central tenet to the IOA's work. And I'm really pleased that we've chosen this theme for the first September Symposium.
Absolutely. Thanks for that. And, we're offering this over, rather than choosing one day, which would be almost impossible given our global audience, we've divided it up into 2 half-day experiences. So Heidi, tell us a little bit about what someone can expect to learn.
Oh my goodness. Let me just say, hopefully, we're going to learn even more than what I can share here today. But I would say first and foremost, anyone who's been to a conference with the IOA, either across a screen or in person, knows that the connection with your colleagues across the globe is probably the most valuable thing that we can take away. But alongside that, we've got amazing presenters and a phenomenal keynote speaker who are bringing their expertise to us with extraordinary generosity to share about different themes that fall under the DEIB bucket and the trauma category. And so I think being able to invest in our own professional development and take away things that we're going to be able to apply to our direct work will be important. I think recognizing the diverse population of ombuds across all of our cultures and all of our work platforms is really important to this kind of gathering. These kinds of conversations give us an opportunity to think of different ways to problem solve. And I know that every time I have interaction with IOA colleagues, I come away with some great ideas for things that I wouldn't have necessarily thought of. And it's because of that engagement that I'm better as an ombuds. And finally, then we get to demonstrate those practices. After we talk with one another, after we take in all of the content that's going to be presented, we're going to go into discussion groups where we can talk about ways to work through some of those themes in our direct work. And I think all of those things are what I consider to be takeaways. And again, I suspect there will be even more than that.
Absolutely, the applied work, right? So speaking of a varied journey, there's also pre-work to this event. So tell us a little bit about that, Heidi.
Yes, we're giving everyone some homework, not because we want to be cruel and add more work to your plate, but because we recognize that it's really helpful to have an established baseline when we're talking about things like diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, and trauma and the impact. And so the pre-work really is designed so that we can all come with that sort of common baseline, even recognizing that we're not all going to have one singular definition, but to help us to better understand the issues that we're going to be presenting and talking about at the symposium, we think that pre-work will be a really valuable part of people's experience. Having said that, we're not asking you to spend hours and hours and hours doing that pre-work, but we're going to give you a lot of resources, and you can pick and choose. You can go through all of it if you'd like. And we think that that will be an enhancement to both your symposium experience as well as any work you do afterwards.
That's awesome. Level setting is critical, right? When we bring people together, that we're at least all on the same page. But everybody's DEIB journey is different. And Bina, tell us a little bit about sort of our approach with this, what we're now calling a learning lab.
Yeah, thank you, Ellen. Thank you, Heidi. This is so with the pre-work, we ask that you come in with the mindset as well, that this is a learning lab and that we all need to do our own work. And in order for any of the content and all that we'll share to resonate, we ask that, consider this a learning experience, an opportunity for all of us in the ombuds function to advance our understanding of the issues with DEIB and trauma and apply them to practice. And we also recognize that DEIB learning benefits from individualized work and personal reflection that takes place outside the confines of formal education and group work and so on. So as Resma Menachem reminded us in the conference in 2022, that there are no shortcuts or workarounds. We all need to move through clean pain and healing. And we ask that you come with this framework and mindset and the opportunity to just learn and be curious.
Absolutely. And, and just an awareness of how where we are on our individual paths can be so illuminating and helpful for us, but can also be a sensitive point and can in fact cause trauma for some of our colleagues. So it's just so important for us to enter this space with as much respect and understanding as possible. So, Bina, we've been talking about a micro-credential and creating a micro-credential in the DEIB space at IOA for quite some time. And this is the first event that will count towards that. Can you say a little bit more about that?
Yes, yeah, thank you, Ellen. So the micro-credential is something that IOA is rolling out very soon. And it all begins with attending the symposium and participating in some of the workshops that we have planned here. And with that, the micro-credentialing, we've got additional courses that will be offered as part of ombuds to get a credential related to DEIB. So we're really excited that it can only enhance your experience as well as your professional ombuds skills. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait. Thank you so much for being here and telling our colleagues a little bit about this amazing event. And thank you to our conference committee, our PDC committee, and our DEIB committee. The planning committee for this is a collab between representatives of all three groups. So under your very wise and sage leadership. So thank you both. And we look forward to seeing everybody at the symposium. And stay tuned. Bye.